everybody, if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if not, then welcome back to another one of my videos. I just realized today that I have never worn a ponytail in any one of my videos. My hair is always down, curled, straight, whatever, but never in a ponytail. So, I don't know, I put it in a low ponytail today. It was feeling like that kind of day. Anyway, welcome to today's video. It is a very cozy and snowy day right now. I'm pre-filming this, so it is a Monday. You guys will see this later this week, but it's snowing outside. I'm wearing a cozy ass sweater, and I'm just here for all of the vibes right now, and it's really, really making me want to film. So that's what we're doing today. I have a bit of a busy week ahead of me, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to film later on. Plus, with my wrist slowly recovering, I'm still trying to give myself as much time to edit as I can, because I don't want to spend like one whole day editing and then wake up with a sore wrist. So I'm pre-filming my video today, and it's a great one because I have been waiting to do this video for literally a month. Literally. It's my November wrap-up. Sorry, I just got a nosebleed scare there. I could feel it coming on my nose, but apparently it was not blood, thank God. I get nosebleeds all the time and I get them really fucking bad, and I was like, you're kidding me right now. But it was a scare. But it was just a scare. We're okay. Anyway, I went through a spree at the beginning of the month where I read so many great books. I literally read 14 books in like 15 days, and it was amazing. I felt like my old self again, like from the beginning of the year, and I just read so many back-to-back fucking bangers. So I literally would have done a half-month reading wrap-up, but it just didn't fit into my channel schedule and my like videos that were being uploaded already, so it's fine. We're gonna do it now. We do have a lot to fucking get through. This has been my biggest reading month in a while. I read 21 books as of today, which is the 28th. I know I'm filming this early, but like I said, don't have time to do it later and want to give myself time to edit, but that's okay because honestly, I don't want to talk about more than 21 books because it just gets to be too much in one video, and personally me, I wouldn't be able to watch a full video like that talking about like 28 books because I would just lose track of what we're talking about. Also though, I was looking back at my other videos. Like in April, I read like 30 books, and I'm like, how the fuck did I edit that? It's mind-blowing. Seriously, I must have spent like 2 hours straight one evening editing that shit, and that's just not what I want to do today. So anyway, we're gonna get into the video now because like I said, we got a lot of books to get through. So I finished off last month's wrap-up with Blood Orange by Karina Halley. That one I read on October 31st. That was a great book to read on Halloween, by the way. It was amazing. But I wanted to include two DNFs that I DNF'd right after spooky season was finished, so like November 1st, November 2nd. And I was just like, I'm not going to get back into these books. It's not worth it to keep them on my shelf, so I'm going to say goodbye to them for now. And one of those was A Ballad of Nightmares. And I actually talked about this in my recent DNFs video, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but A Ballad of Nightmares, it was a great book. I just think it wasn't for me. It's a fantasy book, and I wasn't in the mood for fantasy. I could not get myself into it, and I think honestly, I just cannot get myself into it. I don't think fantasy is for me, and that's totally fine. But that's why I DNF this one. It's definitely it's me, not the book kind of situation, because I feel like this could have been so good, and the premise sounds really great. I was loving the character as far as I got, which was 14%, but I just couldn't do the fantasy aspect. Plus, you know, when you like start a book, you got the momentum going, and then you like stop it for a minute, and then you can't get the momentum back. I just feel like that was happening to me, and I did not want to get like out of the reading mood that I was in because it was like a new month. I wanted to have a fresh start, so I decided to DNF it along with Ghost by Kat Blackthorne. This one, it was like a reverse harem paranormal spooky read, and honestly I gave it a shot because it was a newer release, and I was like, oh, this could be good. And I was at the end of spooky season anyway. I had checked everything off my spooky season TBR, or like the ones that I actually wanted to read, and I was like, we'll give this one a shot. I didn't actually like it. I didn't find it intriguing. It just felt bland and meh to me, so I DNF'd it once again. I want to start the new month with a open TBR, no baggage, all that, and unfortunately that meant I had to let go of these two. It was totally fine though, because my first read of November, which I read from October 31st to November 2nd, was The Devil Tainted Us by Shanjita Ali. I loved this one. It's an amazing dark romance, a gothic romance, an age gap romance, a forbidden like patient teacher, and like it's also got some religious shit. Like, I'm trying to recall what it is right now, but I think he's like a father, and she goes to the insane asylum where he is like one of the higher up people. That was a terrible fucking explanation. Anyway, It's a great read. I really enjoyed it. I recommended it in my last 2 recommendation videos because I just think it's one of those underrated books that I feel like everybody will love. I waited until spooky season to read this because I had it on my TBR since like fucking April. I thought it was great that I waited. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it in that like atmospheric sense because I read it on Halloween as well. I loved it. Definitely recommend it. It is a dark romance, and the only like tiny thing I'll say is that because it is a dark romance, it was confusing as fuck. And that's definitely not a bad thing. It's just one of those darker romances that has like no extremely planned out plot, and sometimes that absolutely hits. I just got really lost and I was like, what is going on? But like I said, that's not a bad thing, and you kind of expect it to come with a dark romance. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars and then 3.75 on the spice scale. Okay, then we have my first like fucking 6-star read of the fall, and that was Russian Ruin by Catherine Wiltshire. Catherine Wiltshire, literally, she's becoming one of my favorite authors of all fucking time. I love her. All her books, at least all the ones that I've read of hers, are in the same world, and I love that. I originally thought it might get a little boring, it might get a little rinse and repeat, copy and paste, but no, she's keeping it fresh with this one, and I love it. This one definitely had a bit more of a scattered plot compared to her other ones, but I did not give a fuck, okay? I was in love with this book. The hero was like everything I wanted in a hero. He's like cold, ruthless, but like calculating, but also worships the heroine and like is there for what she needs. The heroine has gone through some shit. She's not like too outgoing. She's gone through shit. Like I said, she has secrets. Love that. She is super fucking strong, but not in the like in your face way. And I just fucking loved it. There was nothing wrong with this book in my opinion, though some people could definitely argue that there was, but I didn't care. I loved it. It was a bit shorter than I was hoping for, which kind of disappointed me because I was like, I really wanted to read everything of this because I'd been waiting for it for a while. But that's okay because I went into a duet, and I think the second one will have a few more pages. Fingers crossed, but the second one comes out December 16th. So excited. This book was so fucking good. It was immaculate in my opinion, and it was debatably a 6-star read, but on Goodreads, I rated it 5 out of 5 and then 4 on the spice scale. And then I read another Mafia romance. Like November was the month of Mafia romances, and don't worry guys, I have a Mafia romance recommendation video coming. I've only done one on my channel before, and that was for underrated Mafia recs, which, you know me, I love me some underrated. So basically all the recommendations that I had were underrated, and I was just like, let's label it this. So I have an actual like Mafia recommendation video coming that's not just underrated ones. Like there's some pretty popular ones on there, but once again, you know me, they're not all gonna be everything everybody's seen before. So anyway, this one is Make Me by Summer O'Toole, and it's, I think, the Russian and Irish Mafia, which is very interesting. I love that combination. It is a really good book. It's one of those solid 4-star reads because I feel like this wasn't perfect. It had some flaws, but I really enjoyed the dynamic and the spice. Oh my god, so good. And it was just one of those books that you could like get lost in. Like you didn't need to fucking think through every single thing that was happening. You could read it pretty quickly, you could get through it really easily, and it just made sense. I liked it. It was definitely a bit of a like chaotic and messy, slightly toxic relationship, and there were some things that you were like, come on, seriously? But at the same time, like I said, really enjoyed it. It's one of those solid reads. I gave it 4 stars and 4.5 on the spice scale because this shit was spicy. You have daddy kink, you have praise kink, you have just a lot of overall steam. I think there was degradation, and like the list goes on. I'm pretty sure you could find a list in a Goodreads review. But yeah, it was steamy as hell, and I was there for that. Oh, and then I DNF'd Sinners Anonymous by Summer Sketcher. Sorry, that's Som Sketcher. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly at all, but I read a review saying that this one was like the Sweetest Oblivion or something like that by Danielle Laurie, and I can kind of see it. Honestly, it feels a bit like copy and paste. I don't know if it's classified as plagiarism because like some things are changed, but it's just very similar, and I really wanted to love it, but unfortunately I couldn't. And the biggest reason was the heroine, who just honestly got on my fucking nerves. I didn't understand anything about her. I didn't agree with her choices. She just annoyed me so fucking much. But the main thing she did, my god, she, instead of fucking swearing like me, she would say bird names. She'd be like, oh, eagle, he's coming, and I'm like, I cannot express to you guys how much that was so annoying. It pissed me off so much. And when I first started it, like in the first chapter, she said like, oh, hawk, and I'm like, is that a typo? Is this a grammar mistake? What is going on? But then she continued doing it. I DNF'd it at like 40%, I think. I swear to God, she pushed me over the fucking edge with that one. I don't understand why an author would write that, genuinely. Like, who the fuck would like that in a book? I mean, if they can look past that and look to the dynamic of the characters, it's all right. It's definitely giving Nico and Elena from The Sweetest Oblivion. It's pretty copy and paste, honestly, and I feel like that one is just much better because you don't get the fucking bird swear words. I got so mad at that, like, genuinely so mad. So yeah, DNF'd it. I don't know when I DNF'd it at, like, I think it was like 40%, but it was a miracle I held on that long, seriously. Then I read Wicked by Emma Jones, and thank God I made that rant video, because right now I would be ranting for like 6 minutes, and instead of doing that, I'm just gonna tell you to go look at that video. It's one of my recent videos from this month. I think it's like 2-3 videos back. You should go find it, because in the beginning of the video I give a spoiler-free description, and then after that I give a spoiler-filled description. So definitely check that one out. I'm not gonna say too much about it. I will say though, I didn't rate it because I'm just still so torn. I feel like it's a 3-star, 4-star book, and at the same time some of it was 6-star, but at the same time I don't think it was. I'm saying that and I'm just like, yeah, no, it was definitely 4-star or lower. But yeah, check out my rant review. That video is like 14 fucking minutes long, and in the comments there is a pinned like timestamp of where the spoiler-free review starts and ends, and then where the spoilers start. So definitely check out that video. My review will be in there. I'm not going to talk about it right now. But then after, I jump back into the world of the Kimura Chronicles by Cora Riley. I had this on my TBR, and can we just take a moment to appreciate that I ticked every fucking book off my TBR this month. I told y'all in that video, I was like, I need something that's a loose TBR. I don't want it to be too firm. I want to feel like I can do some free reading after spooky season, and I fucking delivered. I got every book crossed off there, and the last one I crossed off today because I'm currently reading it. I'm not going to talk about it in this video though, but we'll get to that after. Anyway, when I went back into the world of the Kimura Chronicles, it was actually really, really good. I read Twisted Emotions, which follows Kiara and Nino, and I had read Serafina and Remo before, back in August. I went backwards to book 3, which is Kiara and Nino, and it was really lovely. I won't say that it's like my favorite Mafia read of all time, even though I know it is for some people, but I feel like it was a good book, and it had definitely had a lot of like emotions in it. I feel like their love is very pure, and I love Kiara's dynamic with like Remo and all the brothers and shit. I definitely think there's a missed opportunity for Nino, Remo, and Kiara to have a threesome. Definitely a missed opportunity. I cracked myself up with that because I was like, I could not see Kiara doing that, like, in the slightest, or Nino, honestly. He would fucking punch Remo's lights out, but I just feel like there was such a missed opportunity. I feel like Nino and Kiara, though, they have one of the most communicative and like understanding relationships I've ever goddamn read. I feel like this is just a next level of love, like connection. They're just so understanding of one another, and honestly it blew me away. I really enjoyed it. I rated it at 4.25 stars because I feel like not much happened. It was a very like relationship based Mafia book, and I liked a little bit more drama in mine. That was fine though. Most of the drama we did get was something I'd already found the answer to in Remo and Serafina's book, so I was once again like a little bored, but I loved the relationship of those two, so I rated it 4.25 and then 3 on the spice scale. Okay, here we go. I had to look this up. So Twisted Emotions, we just talked about that one. That one was book 2. I read Twisted Pride, which is Remo and Serafina, back in August, and now we're going to talk about Twisted Bonds, book 4, which is also Kiara and Nino. That was like a brain twister. I don't know what that was. Anyway, Twisted Bonds, once again, it was a very character-driven book. I didn't enjoy it as much. I gave it 4 stars and then 3 on the spice scale. Once again, I feel like they're just very much destined for each other, but I wanted some more action in a Mafia book. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I'm glad I read it. I just love those Mafia books with the extra drama, extra like events and plot. They just hit. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Will I continue in the Kimura Chronicles? Probably not, because I feel like I've read the best ones, and according to a lot of you guys, they go downhill after that. So I'm not sure if I'll even recommend it, because I feel like everyone has seen this so many times, but I really enjoyed it. I had fun reading it, and I rated it Twisted Bonds 4 stars. See, I'm getting through these like crazy, but we still have like half to go. Okay, then I DNF Fractured Freedom by Shane Rose. My friend Kiana on Instagram, her username is Kiana Loves to Read with underscores in between them. I literally shout her out in every single video. I'm sorry, girl, but she read the 3rd book in this trilogy of like connected standalones, I think. And I really wanted to read it, but I was like, maybe I'll start with the first one. Maybe I'll read an actual series, because I haven't read a series in a long ass time when I decided to read this. So I started with the first one. I hated it. Kiana said I was gonna hate it, but I really didn't like it. it was way too contemporary, way too, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I didn't like it. Then I started the second one, which is Brother's Best Friend, and I also didn't like it. So I decided to put the series aside and not go for any of them because they were just ruining my, like, go mode mood, and they, like, stumped me for all the books that I wanted to get through. So I said bye-bye to those. I didn't rate them. I DNF'd them. I don't rate my DNFs. And then I read Fair Catch by Candy Steiner. You guys, I feel like you guys would have loved to see me vlog this. Unfortunately, I didn't, just because I'm gearing up for so many vlogs in December. I need to give myself a bit of a vlog break, and then we'll go at her again. But I read Fair Catch, and it's definitely my favorite from the series. I did complete the whole series, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but Fair Catch was my favorite. I loved the, like, hate to love kind of thing they had. Riley being a girl on a guy's baseball, was it baseball? Football, sorry, on a guy's football team was awesome. Their previous dynamic and them being friends in the past, loved it. The tension and the forced proximity of them sharing a room, loved it. Their sex scenes were so good, and I love these two most in the series because I feel like Zeke and Riley are just the perfect combo. They're so good together. They're so hot. They're so everything, and I just loved it. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It shocked me for a contemporary read, and I loved the football atmosphere and the college atmosphere. I feel like these are really solid. Not my favorites, not absolutely amazing in my opinion, but they're really good and they're really solid. So I gave that one 4 stars and then 3.5 on the spice scale. And then I forced myself to take a break from this series because I had a few recommendation videos coming up, and I was like, girl, you need to read some shit for it. And then I didn't even fucking end up recommending what I read, even though I really enjoyed it. I legitimately forgot to recommend it. So first I read Shattered by Natalia LaRue because I thought this was gonna be a great recommendable dark romance. I mean, it is, but once again, I fucking forgot to mention it. Yeah, this is the epitome of a fucked up toxic relationship. It was mind-twisting, dark, but not. It was set in a contemporary world, but it just dealt with a lot of, like, mental health and a murder mystery, so it felt darker. Yeah, the hero in this one was such a fucking red flag. Everyone thinks that he killed her sister, the heroine's sister, and he's on trial for it, all that shit, and he, like, kidnaps her and does a bunch, and I don't want to spoil anything, but, like, he does a bunch of fucked up shit. He's a morally gray hero. He's a red flag walking, but I found him really hot. Possibly because his name is Noah. It might be because I imagined him to be that way in my head, but I thought he was pretty hot. Yes, he's a walking red flag. Yes, I found it kind of hot. There was a few sides to him though, and especially in the beginning, he's the perfect anti-hero though. Like in the beginning, he was definitely a walking red flag, definitely an anti-hero. Did some shit, I was like, yeah, we don't like that. But then towards the end, when he like protected her over everything, I was like, oh, uh-oh. But yeah, this one was really good. It was fucked up, it was dark, it was toxic, and I really enjoyed it. It also had a bit of murder mystery in it, and yes, the twists were kind of crazy. I feel like this was maybe her first book, but actually I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because I feel like it was too chaotic to be more than that, and then I gave it 3.75 on the spice scale. And then I read another book by her, which is Alliance. This one is a Mafia read. It's also an age gap read, and so I was trying to get it for my age gap recommendation video, which was a collab with Nikki from Nikki and Bookland. No, I didn't end up recommending it. Once again, I fucking forgot. I can't believe I did that. As I was editing the video, I was like, hold on, what about these books that we just read? I really love that video and I stand by all those recommendations, but I just can't believe I forgot this one. There's not much to say for this one. In my review, I said a little fast-paced, a little short, a little basic, but I still enjoyed it. It's definitely a great light Mafia read and a great age gap romance, and I feel like that's all it is. It wasn't too deep. It was pretty fast-paced, like I said. There was a little too much like A to B kind of things, you know, like there wasn't any shocking twists, but it was a great light Mafia romance read. Yeah, that's all I can really say here. Yeah, honestly, that's all I can say. Let's move on to the next one. I feel like I'm talking so fast, I'm going out of breath, and yet we're still this many minutes into the video, and I've got like a lot of more fucking books to get through. Okay, Blindside by Candy Steiner was our next one. My next one was my next one, and I also enjoyed it, but this one I feel like was the worst in the series for me. I didn't like the tropes that were in it, particularly the heroine in this one. I feel like her name was Gianna or something. I'm also not really one for fake dating. That might be why, but I feel like Gianna in this one, I think is the heroine, she was a reader, and I feel like sometimes authors put that in there just for us to relate to the heroine in this. I don't really know. I feel like they do it for TikTok, And you know when they like add tropes in that, you know, TikTok will love, and you can just tell that the book is written for TikTok, not for the reader, or the author just like plotted it out thinking of TikTok. That annoys me. And Gianna in this one, she was a smart reader, and I feel like it was too catered to us because like it had all the parts that we would have wanted, but it just felt a little overdone to me. Like the hero in this one, he read one of her smut books, he like snuck it from her shelf and then like reenacted the scenes in it, and I was like, it just feels overdone to me. That was my biggest issue with this one, because yeah, I just felt like it was put in there and it felt a little fake. So other than that, the book was fine. Like I said, fake dating, not really for me, but it was fine. I don't know, not my favorite in the series. I really like the next one more. I rated this one 3.75 stars and then 3.5 on the spice scale, but the quarterback sneak, which is the next one, I really enjoyed. I love the dynamic between Holden and, oh lord, what's her name? Oh, the heroine in this one, I don't remember her name. I loved that we got to see a new character come into the series, because I feel like we were just going from characters we already knew, but I'm particularly excited because the heroine in this one, her roommate is what I'm assuming is the heroine for the next book, and that sounds so awesome. She's totally different than any of the other heroines in here, and I'm really excited for it. Yeah, quarterback sneak, I enjoyed it. Nice fun coach's daughter forbidden romance. It was good. I feel like this series might be going downhill for me. Fair Catch was my favorite, and I feel like the other ones haven't really compared. Don't know if the next book in the series will like break that record, but yeah, I rated quarterback sneak 4.5 stars and then 3.5 on the spice scale. Guys, we still have 5 fucking books left. I should have literally filmed a half-month wrap-up. This is gonna be a long-ass video. I hope you guys like it. Sorry if it's too long, but I read God of Wrath by Rena Kent next. This was amazing. This was everything I was looking for the next book in this series by her. I loved it. It was very heavy on the breeding kink, which isn't always my cup of tea, and I did feel a little bit copy and paste. Like, the plot and the dynamic of this one was basically the same from the characters in book 1. I was a little disappointed by that, but Jeremy Volkov, he's the hero in this one, was so hot, and Cicely, I loved her. I feel like Rena Kent wrote it really well. It didn't disappoint me, but I was hoping for a little bit more. Not too much to say for this one, honestly. I don't think it's my favorite in the series. I will say Jeremy is very hot. Sorry, it's not breeding kink, it's primal play. I'm very sorry, I mixed those up. I feel like that was done really well. I enjoyed it. Like I said, not always my cup of tea, but it was good. And otherwise, I feel like the book was a little too basic for me. Like, there wasn't too many plot twists, not a lot of drama, but at the same time, it was fine. I had a fun time reading it. The next few, I did not have a fun time reading. Sasha by Eva Winters. I feel like I want to say Winters. I barely even skimmed this one. I didn't like it. It is a Russian Mafia one, Russian mob one, and this is another one. I feel like it's just too based for TikTok, or it's like all the tropes that authors think us readers love, but it just felt fake and overdone. Yeah, it just had all the tropes to be a really good book, but the execution wasn't done very well. Yeah, that's basically all I can say for this one. Execution wasn't done very well. I rated it 3 stars, but it was like also pretty spicy and a slow burn at the same time, so it was 4 on the spice scale. Oh, and then I read Remember I'm Yours by Vanessa Louisa, and I found someone's Instagram. I don't really remember what her Instagram was. If I remember it, I'll put it in the description, or if I find it, I'll put it there. But this person makes amazing fucking edits. But at the same time, edits can always deceive me. They're either very hit or extremely miss. This one was extremely miss. It's a Rockstar romance, so guys, it's my monthly Rockstar romance DNF. It happens. I actually haven't DNF'd one in a very long time, so we were due. But yeah, I did not like it. It was age gap, which is very interesting because Rockstar romances never tend to be age gaps. There was a pretty big gap. I think it was like 12 years or something, and she was like 18, 17 when they first met, and he was like whatever in his 30s, and I was like, oh, okay. It was all right. It was a tad tabooed because of the age gap, which I guess would be more forbidden. It wasn't really good though. It just felt like too much of an insta love, insta connection thing, which we get all the fucking time in Rockstar romances, and I just wasn't here for it. Next up, I read The Game by Ruby Medjo. This one and the next one, and then the one I'm currently reading, were the last ones on my TBR, and I was like, let's get through it, because honestly, guys, I don't have a lot of books on my TBR that aren't like coming out next year. Like, I don't have a lot of books to read right now. I feel like I'm running out of books to read, which is very interesting. I'm sure next week I'll be like, yeah, girl, you have a fucking ton to read. But in this moment, I just feel like I don't have a lot of books to read on my TBR coming up. This is a sequel to Folie à Deux by her, which is a fun, spicy novella, like Mafia, forbidden, a bit of taboo, and spicy. And at the beginning of the game, it does say it's not a standalone. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I've already read Folie à Deux. It's great. But I was so goddamn confused. And I don't think I'm the only one there. I do think I'm in the minority that didn't like this book. I feel like it just was so chaotic, so messy, and there's so many questions, so many new characters. I could barely remember everyone's fucking name, and it did not have the ending I wanted it to have. It was one of those books that you like thought it was gonna be a love triangle, but like, was it or wasn't it? And then she ends up with whoever you don't want her to end up with, and I did not like that. You can sometimes tell when authors are like in a rough time in their life and they write a book to help them get out of that rough time, and I feel like this was one of those, because you can just tell like this writing, it was a form of therapy, and that might have been why it was so confusing and chaotic. And because of that reason, I don't want to like hate on the book, but I don't think it was her best book. I didn't really enjoy it, and I was so fucking confused. I did get through it, which is pretty surprising. I rated it 3 stars. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. And then the last one that I read, thank God we're almost there. It was Wings of a Butterfly by Aidan Perry. And this recommendation came to me from Tamika, from Tamika's library. And I should have known, because Tamika likes horror and I don't always love horror. I love romantic horrors. And this one, I feel like it wasn't extremely romantic to me. And the anti-hero in this one was beyond redemption for me. Like, it was fucking dark. And it's a serial killer romance, but the serial killer is too serial killing for me. He was too far gone to be beyond redemption. And it was horrific too. It pushed me a little bit past my limit, I'll be honest. Tamika really liked this one, and it makes a lot of sense. If she hadn't have recommended it to me, I would have been like, girl, you need to read this. But yeah, a little bit too dark for me, a little bit too much horror for me. I did like a few of the twists though. I was like, oh really? And I was trying to like predict the twist as one does, and I didn't get any of them. But my review said this was unhinged and not my cup of tea, and I feel like that sums it up pretty good. I didn't rate it because it was like a 4-star read and a 2-star read, so I just like decided to leave it, you know? But yeah, that is the last book on this list. Literally, thank God. I feel like I've been here for an hour. In the future, if I ever read this many books again, I'm gonna be splitting up into 2 videos, because this is a lot, and I feel like you guys might not stick to the end with a video this long. That being said though, you guys like my longer vlogs, so I don't know. But yeah, that is everything that I read in November. I read one more book that I'm currently reading, but like I said, we're at too many books this month to talk about it. I'll talk about it in my December wrap up, which is my last wrap up of 2022. That's fucking insane. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you also had a great reading month, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Oh, by the way, all my links are in the description. You can find my Instagram, my wish list, my Goodreads, and all that. Bye!